Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today we're going to talk about new launches at Sephora. I was perusing the what's new column, and I was like, oh, there's so much new. But the thing is, there's always so much new. So I see tons of my favorite YouTubers do videos such as this where they might title it, you know, Will I Buy It, or Release Rambles. I've seen just so many cutesy names. I don't know what I'm gonna call this, to be quite candid. I'll figure it out when I'm sitting down and actually uploading it. But basically, I just kind of wanted to go through some of the new launches that caught my eye. Some of them caught my eye because I want to buy it. Others caught my eye just because I think it's interesting, but it's not necessarily my cup of tea. But I realized that maybe some of you guys might be interested. And then some of it caught my eye because I've actually already got it in PR and I don't like it or I like it. So I figure it's just going to be a smattering of my thoughts on all of these new releases. I'm going to try to curate it and not talk about too many because I could make a 2-hour-long video if you wanted me to. But I know that that is too long. Another reason I wanted to do this video is I feel like it's going to help me as a consumer and a person really think twice about what I buy. I feel like because I have the excuse that this is my job, that I'm like, well, then I'll just buy. But I'm like, well, that's not smart. Fiscally, that's not smart. I could be saving a lot of that. I need to really hone in on what do I really want to try, because that's going to show through in my videos when I'm sharing them with you guys. But also, it's just smarter. It doesn't make sense for me to buy, you know, 5 different moisturizers at a time or 10 different foundations. I've been guilty of that. I have so many foundations that I'm trying to try right now that I am incredibly overwhelmed. So I'm trying to be smarter about what I'm purchasing. So we are on Sephora's website. Let's click new. There are, I will say, quite a few things that I'm like, oh, I really want it, but I'm like, Jessica, you do not need it. Now the reality is I don't need any of these, but if you love makeup as much as I do, you understand the problem you're facing. What's interesting is that I was just on my computer, like my desktop, and the order of the just arrived is completely different than what it was on there here on my laptop. Okay, so one thing I do want to try is the Tatcha, the Dewy Skin Cream. So this one retails for $68. It says it's good for normal and dry skin. It's a rich cream that feeds skin with plumping hydration, antioxidants, purple rice, a dewy healthy glow. Oh, all of that sounds so good. Now, the reality is I also know that I have so many moisturizers that I have kind of in the lineup to try, so I don't need this. But it's kind of one of those things that I could see myself buying it and being like, let me just try this one right now. This sounds like something I would rather use during the day and not necessarily like before bed. I feel like it'd be wasted before bed, not because of the ingredients, but mostly because the idea of this for me is that I would have dewy skin, and I want that during the day. I don't really care if I have dewy skin as I go to bed. Frankly, I have dewy skin before bed no matter what, because I've got so many oils and lotions and potions on that I'm like, whoa, who's that glowing goddess? So one that I will probably buy like within the week is this Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. It's $36. Listen, I love primers. I love them. What is it about primer? And I know there are different schools of thought. Some people are like, primers are nonsense, you don't need them. And then there are others that are like, you need like one kind of primer every single day. And then there's me, that I am an equal opportunity primer lover. I love them all. I have primers for pore filling. I've got primers for like dewy, glowy skin. I've got primers for just smoothing, which I guess that's pore filling. That's what I mean. I have so many primers, I don't need this one, but this is the first primer I've heard of in a very long time that the second I heard about it, I was like, yes. And I think I was watching Tati's, her PR haul unboxing thing, and I laughed when she opened this. She's like, I don't need it. And then James was all excited to have it. So I'm like, James, can you like hit us with a review? Like, I need to know if it's worth it. Will you do my job for me, please? So I'm probably gonna buy that one because I still haven't even tried the Banana Bright Eye Cream. Sounds awesome too. But I have an Origins Ginseng eye cream that sounds very similar, and so I don't need another one, but I might need this primer. Okay, here's one that I actually already own. Let me grab it. So it's the Nars Exposed Cheek Palette. It's $59, it's limited edition. I want Nars to come out with a palette that's not limited edition because there's another one I love. Let me just go grab it. I try to be really good about grabbing the things I'm talking about because I always get, it's a pet peeve of mine when I watch my favorite YouTubers and they're like, I have it somewhere. And I've done that too. I'm guilty of it too. But I'm like, just go grab it. It's right there. I want to see it. You know what I mean? So I always try to, if I don't grab it, I'll try to insert pictures on the screen. I am like crazy about it. This palette I freaking loved, and it was limited edition. It's their Orgasm Infatuation palette. Like this bronzer, the blush, and the highlight, they're so beautiful. I've traveled with this. Are you kidding me? The package is beautiful. I'm like, Nars, please stop making everything cute, limited edition. Because I can talk about it all I want, but it's so much harder for you guys to find, or you're paying exorbitant prices on eBay. So this one is limited edition. It's their Exposed Cheek palette. I've seen a lot of YouTubers talk about it, and I got it in PR and I was like, okay, it's really pretty. I mean, it is. But I'm like, will I use this enough to make it worth $60? Am I using each powder enough to make it worth $10 each? Think about it that way. No, I am not. The highlight is really pretty. It's not a super glowy highlight. It's exactly my favorite kind of dulled down highlight. It's really pretty. I use these blushes there. Like that bright pink would be beautiful on deeper skin, but it's too much for my skin tone. Even with the lighter hand, I can't quite make that one work. This one's okay. So I just feel like it's really pretty, but that's my thing about blush palettes. I never get enough use out of them. And that's why I'd much prefer a palette like this that has 3 powders that are gonna work for me. I especially love it when brands have options for different skin tones. So like they have the light, the medium, and the dark and the deep versions of them, so that, you know, you can find the one that's gonna work really well for your skin tone. So this one I think is really nice, but it's not one that you're gonna see in like an absolute favorites video of mine, because I think the formula is nice. If you know you're gonna use all of these, then it might totally be worth it. But other than that, you might be able to pass on it. Okay, another one I'm literally gonna add to my cart today. It's expensive, but it's from YSL. So bougie baby. So it is, I am incredibly goofy today. My hair is crazy, please don't make fun of it. I'm getting my little baby hairs grown back. They're like my little fake bangs. Look at these little babies. So it's the Touche Eclat High Cover Radiant Concealer. So I currently own the YSL Touche Eclat like kind of radiant wand, like their stick that's kind of a concealer, but it's really not concealing much. So people are like, is it even worth it? I actually like it, but you can't view it as a concealer because I really don't feel like it is. It's more of a brightening thing where I'll put it like sometimes in conjunction with concealer, or if I just want a little brightness on a day that I'm not wearing a lot of makeup, which is a lot of days, I can just tap it in. It blends in really quickly. I really like it. But the idea of this being a radiant concealer that's high coverage is literally like, I'm like, that sounds awesome. That's kind of what I think a lot of us were hoping the YSL one would be, where it actually had coverage, but it was still radiant. So it's 35 bucks, but I really want it. Vanilla is typically the shade I go for in like the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, but this is not. I'm just now realizing the same brand, so that would not matter. But I might end up just going in store and looking at these, honestly. I think if I end up getting more than one product that I need a shade match, I might end up just going to the store. But the problem is too, they don't always have all of these releases, so I might need to look like and see if they actually have it. Okay, something that caught my eye, It Cosmetics, you guys know I love their CC cream. I've loved a lot of their products over the years, and I do get sent a lot in PR, but I've also repurchased, like the CC cream, for example, I've repurchased on my own like twice. I love that stuff. They now have Confidence in a Foundation. It says it's long wear, weightless, full coverage, all day. Whoo! They have a lot of shades, which I'm like, thank you. Yes, It Cosmetics, because they have been notorious for releasing like their CC cream, and they have like, you know, I think originally they had like 4 shades or something ridiculous. Then they released a little more and they've gotten better. Finally, they're starting a release with, this is a lot of shades. 48, that is amazing. So, and it looks like there's a good amount of, it looks like it's a good mix. It's so hard to see online though, so I can't say with confidence, but it looks like it's a good mix of light, medium, deep. I'm curious about, the reviews are kind of halvesy, but there's only like a handful of reviews online. But I almost feel like It Cosmetics is releasing like too many face products. Like they just did their Bye Bye foundation, like a coverage moisturizer thing. I feel like they're releasing so much. I'm like, okay, it gets to the point where you start confusing, like, wait, is this the same as this, or is it with a different name? Like, I wish they'd like slow down, but I'm excited about this launch, and I think it's awesome that they have that many shades. So one thing I'm not interested in buying, I don't buy a lot from Tarte, and it's not really intentional. I just don't see a lot from the brand that I like am interested in. So their Tarte High Tides and Good Vibes eyeshadow palette. I am not the biggest fan of Tarte's eyeshadow formula. I do like their like Tartelet palettes. I have the Tartelette in Bloom, and I keep going back and forth, like, maybe I'll get rid of it. No, I'll keep it. I think I ended up keeping it. I've literally gone back and forth for years, you guys, because it's a great neutral palette, and the formula is pretty good. I just, again, I don't know what it is. I just don't end up reaching for it a ton. But this one does have a really pretty mix of colors, and it's got these beautiful, like, aqua kinds of colors and some, like, pinks and reds. So if you know you like that mix, you might love it. And Tarte always has beautiful packaging. So I figured it was worth mentioning. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I thought it might be up some of your guys' alleys. So 39 bucks, reasonable for a high-end palette. It's not in that $50, $60 range like some that we're gonna talk about in a second. So you guys know I'm like really into the Sephora brush line. And they have their Sephora Collection Skin Perfecting Brush Set. It's $54. It's 5 brushes, so you know, a little over 10 bucks a brush. But it looks like there's a powder brush, kind of like a contouring brush, maybe like a highlighting, and then like a really small, oh, they all look so good, but I don't need it. I don't need it. So I'm gonna stop myself right there because I know that I don't need that. No, walk away, but it looks really cute. One of my favorite pastimes is scrolling the new arrivals at Sephora. Beautyblender released like all of these new primers. So they have like this Opal Essence Serum Primer. They have the Leveler. Why couldn't I say that word? It's like the word rural. The Leveler Pore Minimizing Primer. They have their Selfie Shield SPF 38 Dry Oil Primer. As I was saying it, it sounded cooler. That sounds amazing. It's a quick absorbing invisible dry oil primer with SPF 38, which preps for makeup, offers multi-spectrum. Oh my gosh, this like, I wasn't gonna get this, but the more I'm thinking about it, so here is my problem. I love using facial oils before doing my makeup. I feel like it makes my skin look so much healthier all day long. But my problem is I'm like, do I put the oil on before the SPF or after? And so I'll end up putting it on. I just kind of switch back and forth, and I struggle with that because I'm like, well, I feel like the SPF should be closest to my skin, but then I'm like, well, but I feel like the oil, if I put it on top of the SPF, it's just gonna mess with it. So I really struggle, but the idea of this being together, I don't think I realized that this is the answer I've needed all of this time. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that one to basket. I'm really excited about this, you guys. Oh, okay, so I haven't heard a ton about this brand called Inc.redible or Incredible, but there's like a dot between. But it's like inexpensive for Sephora's lines. So for example, it has this Lid Slick eye pigment. Ooh, this color. Ooh, I might be adding this to basket right now. It's $10 and the color is called Daily Drams. It's chrome silver with rose gold. That is like exactly what I like a taupey, beautiful shimmer. They also have a blue, but it's not glittery. It's just straight blue. And then Just Do You is their copper, and then Kinda Care, Kinda Don't is Lux Gold. I'm gonna add the Daily Drams one. This is 10 bucks. If this is amazing, then that would be awesome. We'll see if there's like, we'll just see. I'm excited to give that a try. But that same brand has this Bounce blush for 10 bucks. And it looks like they have 3 shades, and it looks like a true liquid creamy blush, like almost like it's whipped. Does that make sense? But it says it melts seamlessly onto the skin. Ooh, no, I want this. This one's also $10. Do I go ahead and get one? I think I'm gonna get the pink My First Love. I love cream blushes. So another one that I have tried is the Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette. I really like it. You have to like neutrals. Obviously, if you don't like neutrals, or if you're like, you know what, I am on neutral overload, I don't need another palette, then you don't need it. It's not like the formula is something revolutionary that you've never tried before. It's just that those colors are really up my alley, so I really, really like it. I used an e.l.f. palette on my eyes. I cannot stop using this freaking The Opposites Attract e.l.f. palette. It's like, I wanna say they bumped up the price. It's like 15 bucks, something like that. I'll link it below. I cannot put that e.l.f. palette down. I think it's beautiful. The shimmers, the mattes, it all blends really well. But on my brow bone, I actually use the blur, or the far left shade in the Naked Reloaded palette, and I do really like that. I used it in a recent video. I will link below if you're curious to kind of see it in action and hear my thoughts about it more, but that one was sent to me in PR, but I think I would have ended up buying that one anyway because, again, I know other people think it's boring, but boring is my middle name. Another new release I have tried, and I don't know my thoughts on it yet. It's the Hourglass Vanish Liquid Foundation. They sent that to me, and I just can't land on how I feel about it. I don't think it's like the worst foundation ever. I would have known that. You know, you put it on, you're like, ooh. I just don't feel like it's anything revolutionary yet. And I know the whole idea is that you don't need a primer and blah, 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 blah. So I'm gonna keep messing with it and get back to you. I might do like some kind of a foundation, like 5 new foundations I'm trying and kind of a roundup of my reviews and my thoughts and show you me applying each one. Because I think that would be helpful with all of the new launches, but also I need that time to really try these before I do a video on them. Because like that one, $56. That is so much money for a foundation. Okay, this is one I want, but I'm not gonna let myself buy. Truly, I'm not. It's the Charlotte Tilbury, the Icon eyeshadow palette, $65. Now, Charlotte Tilbury is expensive. I have spent a lot of money on Charlotte Tilbury, a lot. Because I genuinely, I did a whole video reviewing the best and worst of the brand. There were products I love. There were products that I definitely don't think are worth the money. I will link that below because I was very proud of, I really tried those products for months. And this is one that I'm like, I've not been impressed with her eyeshadow palettes. I think they, the quads I've tried, they're just so-so. They're nowhere near my favorite eyeshadow, formula. I would prefer, the Milani eyeshadow palettes. I think those are fantastic. I'd also prefer... I like the Urban Decay formula. I feel like the shimmers are never what I want them to be. So if you've tried this and you're like, no, Jessica, it's way better, let me know. But I'm also looking at the colors. I'm like, I don't need this. I think it's pretty that there are some gem tones mixed in with, others, but it looks like all of it is shimmery, which that I would want a few mattes, and it's just a lot of money for that. For colors that I'm not 100% certain I would use. Okay, another one I already have, and I've had a lot of people ask me about. This was sent to me in PR from Natasha Denona, $55, their Bloom and Glow, or Bloom Blush and Glow palette. Okay, when I first got this, I was so excited. I'm very excited to be on any PR list like that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's crazy to me that they even know who in the world I am. That's, I think, maybe the craziest part. But so but I still try to keep a level head, and so I've reviewed quite a bit of Natasha Denona palettes, and I'm like, I don't like this, or I really do, it's not worth the money it is. This one throws me because I love this packaging where there's these cream products, and so there's this really nice plastic lid that goes over it to protect it from flying powder from below. So I think that's really, really cool. I can't figure out these colors. Pretty much all of these are a little too dark for my skin tone, so they look beautiful on a medium to deep maybe skin tone. But the only product I feel like I can use is this Glow, and it's a cream base, so you can set that down on your cheeks. And then there's this Glow Extreme, so there's this kind of highlighter, but it's a little deep for me, so I could put it as a blush topper-ish. Then there's this Duo Glow that's a kind of... what looks like, honestly, the packaging here. This beautiful peach, but it's way too peachy and gold for me. I put it on and I was like, I subsequently wiped that right back off. It looked ridiculous, even with the light hand. And then this red, it's a cream blush, and I'm like, well, no, it's beautiful, but it's way too deep for me. So I don't know how to use this, you guys. I get that you can layer and mix, but none of it has looked good enough on me that I'm like, I would never... This is not something I would have bought. Even looking at it, I'm like, no, I know I'm not gonna use this. So I think I'm going to, I'll probably talk about it in a few more videos, here and there, but this is something I'd probably pass on to. One of my sisters has much deeper skin than me. Does anyone else watch Kathleen Lights? And she talked about the freaking Bare Minerals hydrating stick. And I was like, well, now I need that freaking foundation, dang it. It's $32. It's their Complexion Rescue Hydrating Foundation Stick. And I'm like, yeah. That sounds amazing. The shade range is just kind of meh. I think I would probably get, and I might add this to cart, the Opal #1 Fair Skin with Cool Undertones. The next one up is definitely too yellow. So that one I'm like, yeah, I need to try it. It sounds like exactly what I want, because I do feel like a lot of, I tried that Neutrogena hydrating foundation stick in my recent video. Wasn't hydrating at all. I really did not like the way, I don't want to use it anymore. It's not hydrating the way it claimed to be, and my skin just looked so dry and bad with it on. A lot of you guys have asked about the Kosas Tinted Face Oil Foundation. I actually already own it. I have not tried it. I've owned it for a few weeks. I bought it back when I told you I love perusing the Sephora new arrivals. I bought it when I first saw it. I literally went, buy. I just sight unseen, because I thought that is totally up my alley, and it makes sense that so many of you guys tweet me and send me Instagram DMs, and you're like, Jessica, have you heard of this? You've got to try it. It sounds like you're gonna love it. Long story short, I haven't tried it yet. I'm working on a video where I'm trying it, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. It's kind of in my future filming list. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited to give it a try because it does sound like By the way, I'm wearing a new lip product on my lips if you were curious. It's from Milk Makeup. They sent these and it's the shade Hype. Ooh, it's the creamiest lipstick like ever. It's really similar to the Nars Audacious lipsticks. Like these feel like the exact same formula. There's this shade that's kind of this beautiful, I love this shade. It's like a kind of berry, but it's not like dark, dark berry. It's like a pink berry. Not to be confused with the actual pink berry. But there's the shade Cream that's really, really pretty. More like an everyday kind of a pink, nudie pink. And then they have, I think it's called OG Red. That's a really pretty red. So I am enjoying these a lot. And to be honest, a lot of times when I get like makeup launches, like for lipstick, I'll like swatch one. And if it doesn't really like grab me, I don't necessarily need to try it. But I swatched one of these and I was like, it's so creamy, but you definitely need lip liner with them. Like I'm wearing lip liner, the Wet n Wild gel lip liner, which are 2 thumbs up amazing. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I could keep going literally for days. I gotta stop. But let me know if you enjoy this kind of low-key, chill, like let's talk about what's new out there kind of a video. I do anti-hauls, and this is kind of in that same vein. I don't know that this would necessarily replace anti-hauls. Maybe it would, I don't know, because in it, I'm kind of talking about things I'm maybe not interested in, or at least things I've tried that I don't think you would like. I don't know. So let me know if you enjoy it by giving it a thumbs up. I hope you'll subscribe before you leave. Definitely come say hi to me on social media. It's JamBeauty89 everywhere. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.